you know, like
I think it's fun. Just be adventurous with it. Try to be adventurous with it. It's rude and cruel to say that this is fun because people are dying.
right, right.
But we can make something out of it. For example, let's say, you see, I could not live without makeup, like really heavy makeup on my face. I'm like the combination of Dolly Parton and Cher. So I'm learning to get more used to with this version of me, of myself, of no makeup. So I decided to talk with you today with this. So like, you have to feel comfortable with it. It's your own face, Mieu. It's your face. You're not Dolly Parton.
You are beautiful. You don't need makeup. I look at you and I think, what is she talking about? Because your face is beautiful in its natural state. We've forgotten, but we have forgotten what beauty is. I think there's another thing about that, because I think we think, and it tends to be more for women than for men, but women have this need to put, to make themselves up. For what? I mean, I'm
now that we wear masks.
Yeah, we wear masks.
We wear masks. So I would put on this mask going out to buy food, and this woman at the cashier, she was under great pressure. Too many people rushing to the stores buying things, and so she was a little bit cranky. And I was the diva. So like, oh, how dare you speak like that to me? Haven't you seen my face like at all? Like, no, she had not seen my face.
Yeah.
People, like, some people were grumpy to me and blah blah blah, and then I learned to be just a normal woman again. People don't have to be nicer to me just because I'm Mieu, just because they have seen me on TV.
Yeah.
I don't have to be that.
Well, and that's something I have to explain for our audience over here, is that you actually are a celebrity in Vietnam. You're well known, and your country's population is like 90 million. So, I mean, a lot of people know who you are. For you to go out, I remember not knowing you were a celebrity, and people came to get photographs with you after that lunch we went to.
Yeah, do that anymore. I'm wearing mask. They don't take a photo with me anymore.
Is it freeing though? Is it liberating in some ways? You know, like to actually,
it is.
You know, to not have to worry about, or to return to something that
now
feels...
that I can go to convenience store, you know, like those in Vietnam, they would play music like all the time, music for teenagers, and then I would like stand in the middle of everything. I would start dancing like crazy, like monkey woman. I'm a monkey woman, and I would do all these crazy things without worrying that people would recognize me, or yes, there's a fun thing about it. Of course, I'd go back to normal, and I would be the diva as usual, and then I'd be treated like nicer than usual. But this is great.
It's great to be a little bit anonymous, and it's kind of a great, a friend of mine described it as a great leveler, and I think I agree with that term as well, because like we said, like you said, that was very interesting. That was new to me, that the first population to be struck would be the rich, and that makes a lot of sense because they're the ones who traveled, right? And of course, we're more exposed. But you know, it's just interesting how all these different things that separate us no longer matter or exist. I like that. I've always subscribed to the notion that we are all people, and that no matter what we do or make or whatever, that we're all the same, made of the same stuff, right? There's no difference between you and me, really. Like, we can make it a difference, that say genetically or race-wise, but there's no difference. You know?
But after all, at the end of the day, we would be threatened by the same thing, and we would be happy with the same thing. When this whole COVID thing started out, many wealthy people in Vietnam said, like, that's your problem, because I have my visa and I have my passport and I can jump on a plane at any time. I would run myself off to Europe and, you know, enjoy my time under the sun in Italy, like, You really want to go to Italy?
Not right
Like, you
now.
really want to go to Italy? I don't think so. So you don't run away from this. We
That's
cannot.
right. You can't run away from this. And the Vietnamese, from what I've learned too, they're not people that run away in general, right? They learn how to deal with what's in front of them. Is that
No,
true?
we're the runners. We're the
You're the
runners.
runners? Okay.
Throughout the history of my nation, we started out up north and we ran way down south. We
Right.
ran down south, so it was a great movement in 1945 for hunger. People were starving, and then 1954, the nation was split into two, and they ran all the way from north down south. In 1975, we had boat people running off, you know,
Right. Yes, that's true.
to a great chance of arriving in the promised land, or just disappearing out there. And then after that time, we had all these people running off to America, to France, to Canada, to Australia. Many of my friends are now still living in Saigon, but they're already foreigners. They have like passports from other countries, and we are the running around people. We run away. We run away to survive. We run away to have a better chance, and we have better life. But now we learn, the first time in the history of Vietnam, we learn that there's no way you can run away from it.
Yeah.
It's not just a thing in your country. It's not just the thing that you have always complained, that we're just the small people coming from this small farming country. We have to run away for a better chance. Like, no, you stay and you freaking deal with it. Because it's getting worse and worse in Italy, in the United States of America.
Yeah.
Everybody's facing it.
Yeah, Germany, Italy, France, US, they've all surpassed China, right? I mean, if you can believe the numbers from China, I suppose there's that. What are the numbers like in Vietnam?
I stopped counting. I
Okay.
stopped counting, maybe. And but there has never been like this before, that people are learning to pay more credit to the government and to the information released by the government these days. First of all, people were doubtful, always, all the time in Vietnam. Like, we're very doubtful. But the reality, the fact of the life around us, the people we know, the people we meet on the street, and it has proved that we can trust in our government. They're dealing very well with this. They're dealing very well. So this is the first time the governors of Vietnam have won great credit from their people.
And what have they done to win that trust? What are they doing in terms of, are they introducing initiatives to help people financially?
Yeah, like right decision to be released at right time. That is the great thing. We haven't had any financial support from the government, but many companies have. I think in Saigon, only almost 4,000 companies have closed down, like for good. But we haven't received any financial support. But I don't think we need that. We just need to be alive now. We just need to be healthy now. We're great survivors, so things will pick up soon. I do believe that. This week, many of my friends who had to go back to their provinces during the lockdown are getting ready to go back to Saigon. We'll start all over again. But only the strong ones will stay. You know, in Saigon, it's very easy to have a business here, to have a store here, to have a company here, to become a director of this and that here. But now is the time for only the strong ones to begin again.
That's interesting. Because, I mean, there's also all this, on our side of the world, we have all kinds of initiatives to help Our Prime Minister is introducing all kinds of initiatives to help everyone who needs it, who's out of work, small businesses, as in wage subsidies, all these things. And there have been, I noticed in the news, maybe more so from the States, some companies that take advantage of that when the small business guy is the one that really needs it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after all this, because like you say, like, I also think there's a lot of crowding in that way of businesses, a lot of things, a lot of consumerism, right? And it'll be interesting to see how we go back to that? Do people, is this going to change what they want to do for a living? To find their, because there is that opportunity. I mean, again, we talk about opportunities in such a dire time for so many people, because there's so many people that aren't thinking about things this way. They have relatives who are passing away, or they're sick, whatever. They're working on the front line. So there's a lot of a different perspective, but I guess it's about trying to find the silver linings to these things, Yeah.
Have you found the silver lining?
For me, life changed minimally, because as you know, I'm an actor, so the auditions stopped and the gigs stopped. But I've also been writing, so that part I'm used to doing from home. And so there were certain things that I was applying for, and I've been finding the time to take it slower, to spend time with my husband, quality time, to dig into some of the old talents that I had that I never said I had time to do. So time doesn't exist right now, so I have all this time, and I sort of feel like, not every day is easy, but I'm trying to just, there's nothing we can do except surrender to it. So why not? And I think part of it too comes from me having a very different outlook. I'm able to go back and sort of see myself as a child in this, and what would I, how do I embrace the world as a reset to childhood in some ways. So I'm not bothered. I'm lucky because I don't have kids to look after or anything like that. So I don't have other things taking up my time, but I can actually use that time to see how I embrace that, what's in me that needs to be embraced. And it's a return. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I mean, at times when you cannot just buy a ticket and go somewhere out there, outward, meeting new people, and then just like keeping on introducing yourself to the world. Now it is time to introduce yourself to yourself, like how you've become. And we used to be a lot better dealing with ourselves at home as kids. We used to learn our ways to look at things, to imagine, and to take advantage of each and every minute we had to play with ourselves at home. We talk to things. Now, this is time that I start talking to things again. I've been doing that.
Well, it is about like having that creative side of you and to create your world.
I don't know if this is good, but I'm starting to hear them answering me. Shut up! Shut up!
So maybe this is
back at me.
Maybe this is too much isolation. They say. Yeah. And
I started out speaking to them. I thought it was great. This is my inner child. But now they are talking back at me. This is scary.
Well, and we probably shouldn't make too much light of that, because there are people that are going to have underlying conditions, or that this triggers in them all kinds of things, and it can get pretty dark for some people, right?